Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. My name is Kat, known as phamerina.planning here on YouTube and on Instagram. And today's video is a plan with me for the week of March 17th through March 23rd using the Saucy Stickers Co kit called Gentleness, foiled in rose gold. I got this kit as part of an Oops sale. And then I went back and grabbed the journal kit. Since I don't have florals, I don't know what past me was thinking. I decided to grab this floral bundle. I believe it's floral bundle number 2 from BlissfulJaydeDesigns with these kind of pinky orangey florals. So that the the vibe was the same, even though the colors weren't. If you look at the florals on this bottom washi, you can clearly tell they're more of like a green, white, brownish color floral rather than like these pinky orange florals that are from BlissfulJaydeDesigns. But I think um, the florals from the bundle complemented this kit beautifully. So I knew I had to just be careful and very intentional of like bringing them in so that they were pretty prevalent throughout the kit so they didn't feel out of place. So that is like if you're stuck with a kit from like way back in the day and you don't have florals, I mean, do go poke around, see what's out there, and you can have florals that match the mood, that complement the kit, and it'll work out fine. I believe that this spread came together really well, even though the florals weren't there, because I feel like since this is a kit for the first week of spring, I really did want to pull florals in. So that's why I went to go digging for florals, even though I don't usually go searching for them. So that's that. For my sidebar here, I pulled in this overlay. It's a tearable or rippable washi from Dash of Sun. I've forgotten what the name was already. It's from the Morning Mist collection. It had this gorgeous green color with the journaly elements in the back and of course butterflies, so I figured it would fit really well with this collection here. And I wanted to use it in my sidebar, and I tried to remember to pull it in throughout the spread. So for this spread itself, I told myself this time, for real, Kat, for real this time, you're going to keep it simple. You're going to keep it simpler, right? So for this spread, I kept, bottom washies simple. For my date cover area, I put the floral trim from the kits, and then for my sidebar, I did the green overlay, and then pulled in the brick texture pattern and these butterflies from Saucy Stickers, just bringing in some foiled elements and like not going too overboard. And one of the things with balance is making sure that I pulled like the florals like I didn't want to have it seem like the Blissful Jade design florals were only going to be in the top of the kit, and the florals that came with the kit were in the bottom of the kit, of the spread. So I had to make sure that I was intentional about bringing them both up and down into the spread. I also pulled in Rebecca's freebie from Starlight Paper from the first quarter. We have switched freebies since the spread was done. She had a lot of like journaling elements. She had the ribbons, and I feel like the ribbons went really well with this kit. I had intentions of pulling the little playlist thing in, but that just didn't work out because I don't think I listened to any like new music, because that's when I generally call out new music, like music in my spreads, as if I'm like really vibing to something, like I'm in a groove, or like something new comes out that I'm listening to. So I don't think I had an opportunity to do that, or maybe I just forgot. I do not recall, but I did not get to pull in that playlist Spotify looking thing into this spread, which I was kind of sad about. So I had Jess's freebie from the Pretty Pinko. She has this really functional freebie, and I wanted to use the foiled date scripts. Yeah, foiled date scripts from her freebie, um, and sprinkle those decorative elements she had throughout the collection, or throughout the spread. And I was debating whether I wanted to go ahead and cross the center area or not. And I was like, you committed to doing something relatively simple, so let's not, let's not go past the boundaries of these four columns. So that is the kind of outside of the full boxes of this collection of the spread. I keep calling this spread a collection. I don't know why. Um, so I chose to use this kit because this kit this week also contains the first day of spring in it. And the quote in the center says something along the lines of there's nothing is as strong as gentleness, and nothing is as gentle as true strength. And for me, I think that is very evocative of how people are nuanced. And it was just a very like thought provoking quote. Let me be really honest, very thought provoking for me. Um, and I really wanted to use a kind of green based kit for this week. Well, like the primary color of this kit was green. Um, and I just really wanted to use a Saucy Stickers kit. But my primary impetus for using this collection this specific week was for the fact that it was the first day of spring, which is the 20th, was in this week, and I wanted something green, and I wanted something um, that wasn't silver, because I've been using a lot of silver recently before this, and I'm like, I'm tired of silver. So I pulled for something rose gold, because I feel like rose gold is a color I don't really use a lot of, and it's a very pretty foil color. I just don't really pull for it very often. I guess my eye tends to go for like light golds, and I feel like silver is pretty universal. And therefore, I feel like for me in my kits, for some reason, rose gold gets relegated to spring, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to make sure I have enough of these colors floating around. So in order to make sure I pulled in that overlay into the other spread, I used it as a large focal point in the top right of the columns, not columns, but of my day to day area, and then I created a little moment down here at the bottom to represent the first day of spring, because since I had that large corner area in the top right, I wanted to make sure I had something in the bottom left of this spread specifically, just to balance it out. Um, so I figured, why not make a little call out to spring here, grab some of these letters, just write in spring. I'll understand what it means later down the line, because I know when the first day of spring is, consistently every year. I believe it never moves from my recollection. So that's me. That's my little spring call out down here at the bottom. So I kept I kept my boxes in the column. I stuck to my guns about, keeping it relatively simple for this spread. And now we're into the day by day. So Monday was St. Patrick's Day. I think ideally for this kit, or for this week specifically, I would have wanted to use something that was um, gold for the St. Patrick's Day part. I don't really do anything for St. Patrick's Day. I just think it's cute to do something that's green and gold, but that's just a thing. It was St. Patrick's Day. I don't do anything for St. Patrick's Day. I think it's funny. I often forget to wear green, but does anyone really still do the whole like pinching thing if you're not wearing green on St. Patrick's, or was that just like a weird like Philadelphia thing? Let me know. Let me know. Do people still do that, or is it just not like a thing anymore? um We had a coffee Monday that day, and then I finished the night with some voiceovers. Um, oh, and I the really fun thing. So I don't know how I don't remember how I ended up with these things. These butterfly halves. I f- in on top of did I no, March doesn't have a set theme, but I noticed in a lot of my March kits they all had butterflies in them. So I was like, let me make sure that I continue to pull butterflies throughout. So I had these butterfly halves from Sadie Stickers. They're very old. And I wanted to make sure I pulled in both halves. So on both sides of the spread, I do end up pulling in two tops and two bottoms, and like putting on top of like either a label box or a full box. And I just think it's really cool that I remember to do that. Like sometimes I have thoughts at the beginning of spreads, and it takes me a couple days to do these things. So it's harder for me if I think about doing like a theme on the first half of the spread to remember to continue to do it on the second half of the spread, which is like the fatal flaw in how I plan because of how long it takes. It's not even just how long it takes. Sometimes I don't have a lot of time, so I try to squeeze it in wherever I can. So there you go. So here's the second half of that butterfly. I remembered to pull it in. So I really was like, that's just really fun and really cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm just lame like that. I just butterflies. I told you it's butterflies. On Tuesday, my snake year plan with me went live. I had a salad for lunch. What was I doing? Oh, I bought lunch that day. I bought a salad for lunch, and then I finished the night with some more reading. On Wednesday, is there a reason I did it that day? I think so. The following week, we were going to have this. It's not a difficult process, but it's a process we don't do very often. And it's the final step it's the final step before packaging for our products. It's called bulk. It's basically you take a bunch of our batches and you combine them into one. You run it through a TFF to take out the old buffer that it's in, put it in a new buffer. Um, there's a lot of like logistics, what reservoir size, what buffer, what's our diafiltration, what's our concentration. So it's a very critical step because it's our step before the fill. This is the step where we put this product into the final concentration that the client wants. We put it in the buffer that the client wants. We have it's basically being double filtered. So there's a lot of like criticality to getting this right. So a lot of your factors, your components are dependent on the concentration, but to determine what components you need, you have to do a bunch of math. And if while we do spell the math out, you can still make mistakes. So it's very critical that this procedure is followed exactly and correctly and properly. And since we don't do it that often, it's best to have what I call a walkthrough of the procedure where we pull up the record, we talk through what's going to happen. I give people opportunity to ask questions. Um, so, and I'm by no means like an expert on this procedure. I'm just very well versed in TFF, and I've done this procedure enough times that I can like get a feel for what's going to go wrong. Not go wrong, but like if something goes wrong, what to do. So that was a very long explanation on what I meant by bulk walkthrough. It was a double coffee day, and I finished Wednesday with a planning sesh on Thursday. We're caught up now. Thursday must have not been a very eventful day because here the first thing I have is planning sesh. Guess work was not important. I had I YouTube binged Among Us videos. It's my like how people have comfort shows or like I can't listen to Plan With Me's in the background because I get distracted and I want to watch. So I have Among Us playing in the background. Usually, if I'm playing any YouTube in the background, it's Among Us videos because I just like to listen. I don't necessarily need to see on and then I finished Thursday by reading. Getting behind again. On Friday, I went and grabbed Dr. Coffee with a coworker. They had it's part of their spring specials. I had a churro latte. I believe I got this one hot. I also got it cold. Hot is much better than cold. It was a good choice. I don't normally go for specials. I'm not like really crazy about like different coffee flavors. I'm like content with a caramel iced coffee, cream of sugar, sometimes no sugar because caramel's sweet enough. Um, but I've gone back for the churro latte a few times now. So we it was then a paperwork day, and then we had Chinese food for dinner that night. On Saturday, I made breakfast. Here more of those butterfly halves, just making sure that I bring them in. Got to be consistent with doing the theming. I mean, I know for sure this was over 2 days because now I have nail polish on because we'd already finished the procedure. Therefore, I had no more reason to be inside the facility, so I went ahead and painted my nails because I wanted them to look a little cute. They do get chipped because I don't put a top coat on them because I'm lazy. Don't judge me. But I don't really keep them on for very long, so that's why I don't really like stress about it. No one really looks at my nails. Um, what were we talking about? I made breakfast. We went to IKEA that day to get Bub a few things. One of which was a paint easel because he paints at my mom's place, so we wanted to give him an outlet for painting at our place. Then I finished that night with a planning sesh. On Sunday, I'm marked to make breakfast twice. We didn't go out to eat for breakfast. That's kind of crazy. We visited Longwood Gardens. That was our spring trip. And then I believe this was the sidebar conversations I really wanted to make sure I tune into. Because this was the one where they were talking about kit formats in regards to weekly kits. I think Jess was on this one. I don't remember, but I really wanted to make sure. And then I finished my book. It was Dawn of the Future. It's a part of the Final Fantasy 15 media complex. I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 15. I just wish they'd almost those stories in the video game. But that is the spread. These are the kit leftovers. I really love how this all came out. It was nice keeping things not too crazy, not going crazy with the scene generation. Um, and I was allowing myself to be complex in different ways. So that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would love it if you gave it a like. Leave a comment with any of your thoughts down below. And I would be so happy if you joined my little channel here by subscribing. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.